News. An early check on Wall Street this Wednesday morning. The Dow is down 219. The S&P down 19 points. The NASDAQ is down 9. Again, our top story, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is running for president. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
It's time for WPTV's First Alert Weather from the WPTV News Channel 5 newsroom. Now with 7 meteorologists covering the Treasure and Gold Coasts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now here's WPTV's First Alert meteorologist.
In the afternoon, temperatures warming up to the mid-80s. Plus, we're going to get those afternoon showers and thunderstorms later in the day. Through the evening hours, some of those downpours could be pretty heavy. There's going to be the threat for some localized flooding the next few days because it does remain stormy each and every afternoon and evening, at least through Saturday. It's all thanks to that area of low pressure that's in the Gulf of Mexico. It has a very low chance for formation, but regardless of formation or not, it is going to bring us active weather pattern in the next few days. I'm WPTV First Alert meteorologist Jennifer Correa for WSTU 1450, Martin County's Heritage Station.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jensen Beach, Hope Sound, Martin County's Heritage Station.
It's time now for the Casey Ingram Show on WSTU. The opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and not necessarily those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. It's time to call in with your questions and comments at 220-9788, 220-WSTU. And now, here's Casey Ingram.
Well, good morning. We're back on another beautiful Wednesday. I have a announcement coming up in the second half of the hour on my show, but before that, we have a great program on tap with SpeakLifeTheMusical.org. I have Rebecca Burd joining us by phone today, so we're going to have a really good conversation about what that is and what Rebecca and her husband Dan are doing to help stop bullying here, not just locally, but across the nation. Before we go into that, I want to thank my sponsors, Scott Watson's Indiantown Marina and Fish House Art Center. Boy, I'll tell you, with Indiantown Marina, hurricane season's just about ready to start, so please make sure you reserve your spot to make sure you have a safe place to keep your boat. And Indiantown Marina is, in my opinion, South Florida's best boat storage facility. It's the safest. It's located inland on Okeechobee Waterway. Very well protected hurricane hull. And it's also a do-it-yourself and full-service boat yard, so you can get any kind of work you need done out there while the boat's in storage. You can give them a call at 772-631-3272. And also the best kept secret in Martin County is, of course, the Fish House Art Center down in the Pocket in Port Salerno. So many fun things to do there. You can take your family and friends. There's an Airbnb to stay at, art gallery, boat charters, marina, craft and creamery, craft beers, wine, 24 flavors of ice cream, rent bikes, all kinds of fun stuff. So again, that's down in the Pocket. You can look them up online, thefishhouseartcenter.com, before you head out to see what it's all about. And finally, Commercial Mortgage has been in the industry of small balance corporate finance since 2003. Their focus is on equity, new debt solutions, challenging corporate foreclosures, and debt restructures. Commercial Mortgage never charges a front fee or deposit, and consultations are always free. Areas of expertise include hotels, marinas, office buildings, restaurants, apartments, multifamily condos, golf courses, home builders, and land development, including new and repurposed developments. So call Commercial Mortgage today at 561-310-5295 or visit them online, commercialmortgagellc.com. SpeakLifeTheMusical.org. Dan and Rebecca Burd are the directors of Speak Life Performing Arts Company and producers of Speak Life and Bullying the Musical. The company is a nonprofit organization with a mission to empower students to act beyond awareness, bringing the power of performing arts and digital theater to educational assembly programs. The mission began in 2000 when Dan and Rebecca were deeply and personally impacted by a story of bullying. They realized this was the story they needed to tell and immediately began writing a script aimed at capturing the interest and heart of students. Dan's background in theater combined with Rebecca's experience in dance brought a riveting and relatable show to the stage in 2001. For the past 20 years, they produced and performed their original stage show in schools and events nationwide. Fast forward past the global pandemic in 2020 into 2021, the mission of Speak Life Performing Arts Company is going strong. Through a partnership with Justin Simmons Foundation, Speak Life Performing Arts Company has released a new version of Speak Life and Bowling the Musical on film. The same high-impact stage show is now a high-quality digital theater production, now with brand-new original music produced by Rhyme Partners. This new format will give every school around the world the opportunity to bring Speak Life and Bowling the Musical to their student body. The vision for 2022 and now 2023 is to reach 1 million students in 1,000 schools across the nation. Just think of the culture shift in schools and communities when millions of lives are impacted for positive change. Speak Life Performing Arts Company has many more plans for the future that will continue to empower action beyond awareness, to awaken empathy and inspire hope in students through performing arts and educational assembly programs. As a company, they know there are many more stories to be told. Joining me by phone today is Rebecca Burd. Rebecca, how are you this morning?
I am doing wonderfully. Thank you so much, Casey, for having us on your show this morning.
It is absolutely my pleasure. And before we start talking a little bit more, I want to give folks an idea about what we're talking about. I have a clip from one of your trailers that's on the website. It's speaklifethemusical.org if you want to review it. But Evan, if you could go ahead and play that clip.
Good morning. May I have your attention, please?
Hey, beautiful.
Hey, babe.
We're never gonna win state with you worrying about all this other stuff.
Hey, Chloe, I bet that's available.
Ooh, I'd rather die.
My name's Emma. It's my first day.
Trey, let's go. Hey, watch where I'm going. What a loser. I hate that kid.
Clean up on aisle 2. I'm sorry he cheated, and I'm sorry he left you. But he left me too.
Why'd you let people see more of who you are?
How do I show them who I really am when they've already decided who I am?
You get to decide who you are, not them.
Bree, I'm sorry. Look, my parents are breathing down my neck because I'm failing calculus.
Are you listening to me right now?
The things you say to people before the game and how you treat them afterwards, that will affect them for the rest of their life.
You're gonna make it too. You're gonna make it too.
Hey, are you okay? Welcome to the chaos.
Well, folks, if you're joining us on Facebook, you were able to see the trailer, and you can go to my YouTube channel and watch it there as well. But Rebecca, wow. Tell us a little bit about this production. It's absolutely amazing, folks. It's riveting, and I just am in awe of the type of work you have put out there, Rebecca.
Thank you so much. Well, it's truly been an honor to do this work. I think my husband and I always say it feels very sacred to be able to work alongside our students, especially knowing the mental health crisis that our teens are currently facing. We know that students are desperate, truly desperate, for us as adults to step in and begin to intervene and to begin to provide actual, real solutions for them in the struggles that they're facing daily in school. And because we've been doing this now since 2001 and working in schools, first, of course, with the live musical and touring with that for almost 15 years and seeing almost 350,000 students with the live show, it gave us a real glimpse into the hearts of students and even into the hearts of parents and administrators and what they were truly dealing with on a daily basis in schools. And it was heartbreaking, daily heartbreaking, to see the struggles that teens were facing, to hear the desperateness in their voice, to honestly hear the desperateness of their plea to please make it stop. So many students were suffering at such a level that many of them would look at us and say, if you hadn't have been here this week in my school, I don't know if I would have made it till next week. Others have even said this was the weekend that I was going to take my life. And had I not sat in this room and felt the hope and felt the fact that I'm not alone. And I think that's truly the key. Our kids need to know that we're with them. These challenging situations that they're facing, there aren't easy answers necessarily to any of it. It's going to require culture shift. It's going to require all of us getting involved to actually create significant change and shift for our kids. But this is a challenge worth tackling, and it's a challenge that my husband and I have literally committed our lives to, and I honestly can't think of anything more fulfilling or worthwhile than serving our kids every single day and coming alongside them and saying, we're here. You're not alone. Let us help you navigate this.
Rebecca, and this film is, folks, I can't tell you enough how attention-grabbing it is, truly how riveting it is. I started watching it yesterday, and I was really busy, and I'm like, geez, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this whole thing because I have so much on my plate, and I started watching it, and I couldn't stop until I watched it all the way through to the end. And the message that you give on that film is every kid has something they're dealing with, and it's so true. Yeah. Even the ones that you portray as the bully, there's a story behind their life as well. And then the ones being bullied, and you give these different perspectives that really open people's minds that, it's a lesson for everybody, honestly.
Yes.
Everybody's going through something, and you should just always be kind. And, to hear you speak right now about kids that were so close to saying, this is it, I can't handle anymore, and this film saved their life, I get it. I had the privilege to be able to view that, and Rebecca, I can't imagine there's a school out there that would not want to show this film.
Yes, I think that the desperateness of our times, have really caused schools to be in a situation in which they're seeking something that will really and truly work. And here's what we've learned. Students have been given a lot of the knowledge of knowing why we need to be kind, knowing why our words matter, knowing why we need to be careful about what we say to another person or how we act toward another person. The disconnect comes that students are living inside survival mode. And when you're coming into school on a daily basis, just figuring out, how do I get through without becoming the target of somebody else's negative words or negative actions? How do I almost blend away so that I don't become caught in the crossfire? And when students are living in that kind of survival mode, they'll often find themselves acting out, saying things, behaviors will come out that they don't even really intend. In fact, most of them don't even recognize it. They'll say, this is not who I am. This is not who I want to be. And if we're going to get kids to shift out of that survival mode and take the true and deep pain and traumas that they've seen and experienced, whether they've been at school or been at home or wherever they've experienced those things, if we can take that pain and help them to see and understand, first of all, that they're not alone. We see you, we hear you, we understand what you're walking through, and you're not alone. And then secondly, if you're experiencing these things, if you're walking through these things, open your eyes to the world around you, to your other peers, and know that they're walking through this as well. They're going through these things too. And if we can open a child's heart to empathy, to getting to see beyond their own pain into the life of someone else, it changes everything for them. And that's what our goal was with the film. As we created these characters, as we wrote this story, what we know is if you want students to do something, first they have to feel something. It's the way the brain works. And we've worked with a neuropsychologist on this project. And, of course, my husband and I are artists, and we came at this as artists. And as we saw it begin to work, we just thought, oh, this is art working. And she looked at us and looked at the film and looked at the program, and she said, Rebecca, although this is art, you need to understand what you've created here is science. This is how the brain actually works. A child has to feel. You have to get them into that feeling space in order for their brain to turn on, for them to truly get depth of understanding about these issues that don't just, like you said, you don't age out of this. this affects us now. These are tools we need to know and understand now, and these are tools we need to take into our adulthood. And unfortunately, when we don't learn them in our childhood, they overflow into unhealthy relationships, even unhealthy families, unhealthy workplaces in our future. And so she said, this is how students learn. And when you can then combine the power of story and the power of music, the next level of that is that music actually imprints on the brain of a child, which means they're learning something through that film in the moment as they sit in that classroom or sit in that assembly program. They're experiencing something, but what they learned there, what they felt there, will be imprinted on their brain for a lifetime. And so our goal is not to just get a student to understand that day that the power of their words matter and that they can choose to use the power that they have to speak life and change someone else's life. We want them to know that and choose that for a lifetime. And that means that we have to use the power of story and music to do that, because it needs to imprint on their heart and mind long term. And that's what we believe the program does.
This is very fascinating to hear you say this, Rebecca, because that's something that I took in watching this film. It presented a very important message differently than I've ever seen. Everybody says, you shouldn't bully. It hurts people's feelings. It's this or that. But the way you messaged and packaged this film, it really related to everybody. I can't imagine it doesn't relate to one person that watches it, adult, child. And, again, it's high def. You use professional actors and dancers. And there's also lessons plans and a follow-up and a free school starter kit. So I want to go into that a little bit, because I think it's important people know how to reach out to you and say, how do we bring this to our school?
Absolutely. When we were able to make this partnership with the Justin Simmons Foundation, who really made it possible for us to do everything you just shared and bring this to film in a really professional manner, we knew that the second step was that our schools for years had been asking for follow-up materials and lesson plans, because what we say is that the film gets our students thinking and feeling, and our lesson plans get students talking. And any good counselor will tell you that the key in a child's mental health is that we need to get them talking and we need to keep them talking. And so if we want to get a glimpse into what they're dealing with and what they're going through, we have to create these safe spaces. And so this program has been created in a robust way. What we're hearing in feedback from our administrators is this is the most comprehensive program they have ever seen come across their desk. It's all done in a digital format, and so schools, when they get access to the program, are going to be able to log into what we call our Red Locker portal, and inside that portal, all the lesson plans live there, all the administrator materials. We have training guides for our teachers, for our school counselors. There's timelines. There's parent communication, student communication, social media posts, emails, newsletters, everything that school administration needs to roll out this campaign successfully. And our goal in doing that is that we know, especially since 2020, that our administrators and our teachers are feeling extremely overwhelmed. And these issues have only accelerated. In fact, the mental health of our teachers right now is plummeting, and our administrators is plummeting. We have almost a statistic of 75% that say they want to retire in the next 5 years because of what they experienced through the pandemic and then post-pandemic, because our kids are struggling and they're struggling. And so we want to make this easy for our schools to be able to roll out a campaign that's effective, that provides a real solution for our kids, so it all lives together in this one hub that they can easily access. Our team walks them through that, can provide training for our schools. And so if you're at home and you're hearing this, if you're a school administrator or you're someone who has influence in your local school, I encourage you to hop on to speaklifethemusical.com. And just like Casey mentioned, you can download our starter kit. And that starter kit is going to give you sample lesson plans. It's going to give you some clips of the film. It's going to give you detailed materials. And that's something you can pass straight on to your school principal or to one of the counselors or whoever is responsible for bringing in assembly programs like this. And if you can become an advocate, and this is what we need, really right now we're in a position where distribution is the key. We've created this great program, but it doesn't work unless it's being used in our schools. And so we would ask, would you come alongside? Would you go take a look at the website, take a look at the materials that are there, and if it's something that inspires you, would you take it to your school? Would you knock on that door and provide them with the materials? And if you're a mom out there, we have an entire program called our Mom Ambassador Program, and we have an entire portal just for you. You can go to mombassadors.org, and everything that you would need to be able to present this to your school or a local community program, our program is available to anywhere your students are. So you can feel free to present it to an athletic team or Boys and Girls Club or anything in your community that you think could access or utilize the program. And we ask you to advocate, because it will take all of us to make a significant shift like this. And our schools need to be aware that these resources are there. And we have so many donors who have come alongside. If a school is struggling with their funds, we're going to make it happen for them. We never say no to a school. We're going to make sure that they get access to this program. And if you're someone who says, you know what, I don't have a child in school, but my child went through this, or I went through this, and this is something I want to advocate for and I want to give to, you can become a donor, and your donation goes directly toward a school that can't afford the program, so that we never have to say no to a school and that anyone can have access to the program.
And I want to mention, too, you touched on a few things I wanted to cover, but your sponsors, Justin Simmons, he has the Justin Simmons Foundation. That's really the main sponsor. Justin Simmons is an American football player, free safety for the Denver Broncos in the NFL. He played college football at Boston College, and went into the NFL in 2016. So what a wonderful sponsor, and he is highlighted in the video as well. And you have a lot of local sponsors here in Martin County. I didn't name them all, but Hampton Inn, many of the chambers, Tykes and Teens, Boys and Girls Club. So it's really, you brought together the village here to take care of our children.
Did.
And I think it's absolutely fantastic that you're able to reach out even to moms to bring this to our schools. And moms out there, I'm one of them. There is not a child that should not see this. Everybody should see it. This is such an impactful video, and it's so well done. It captivates your attention, and you're just watching all the characters. And Rebecca, again, I mean, as I watched the different characters, there was different points I related to each and every one of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so unique about what you have put together here. And you mentioned the lesson plans that you put together. Can you talk a little bit more about that? How long is that? Is that something somebody physically brings into the classroom, and it's a week-long program, or is it something they use as needed?
Yes, we really made it as versatile as possible, so schools could really use it within whatever their schedule allows and in whatever environment they feel is best for their students. And so each lesson plan is an hour's worth of material. The lesson plans are really written around the 5 songs and 5 characters in the show. In fact, inside those lesson plans, there's a portion of them that's called Lyrics for Life, and we dive straight into the lyrics of the song. Our incredible songwriters worked alongside of us so that every single word was cultivated and chosen so that students can have those deep and important discussions. And one of the things that the lesson plans allow is to have important conversations so that students can begin to tell us their story. And one of the things we find with students is that often their story is very vulnerable to tell, and it can be very, very difficult to have these important conversations with students. But one of the things that the characters allow in the film is that a child may not be able to necessarily articulate to you fully what they're feeling or what they're going through, but a simple question a teacher can now ask, like, hey, what character did you relate most to in the film? Or what song really impacted you? Or in this situation that you saw in the film, what would you have done differently? Or how do you think you could make this better? Well, now you've removed some of that deep, deep vulnerability, and they get to talk about the story. And if you're listening closely as they're talking to you about the character or the story or the song, you're learning everything you need to know about exactly where they're at and exactly how you can best serve that child moving forward with their mental health, whether we're dealing with a child who's greatly at risk because they've experienced some severe bullying, some severe pain. We want to get those kids with the right counselors and the right support. Or, like you said, we address bullying from every issue in this program. So we talk to the bully, we talk to the bullied, and we talk to the bystander. And our goal is that our bystander army in our schools is 60% of students. If 60% of students understand the power they have to shift culture, and we can ignite those 60% to begin speaking life and looking around and saying, you know what? Those words are not acceptable anymore. Those actions are not acceptable anymore. As long as I stand in this school, that behavior will not happen on my watch. Think about it. If even 10% of that 60% stood up, John Maxwell says that's all it takes is 10% of a group to shift an entire culture. And that is our goal, is to target those bystanders, help them know the power that they have, and get them moving and activated to shift the culture in their school. And we believe the film, followed by the lesson plans, allows teachers, counselors to have the important conversations for those shifts to take place.
Again, we're speaking with Rebecca Burd. We're actually out of time, but I'm going to let this run over a couple minutes because this is such an important topic. Rebecca, I want to make sure I have the website correct. SpeakLifeTheMusical.org.
Yes, SpeakLifeTheMusical.org is the website for our nonprofit. If a school is interested, they can actually go to SpeakLifeTheMusical.com, and that's where they can get our starter kit. So you can go to either, and you can access information.
Fantastic. And I want to let you know, Amy Pritchard, she's one of the Martin County School District School Board members. She introduced me to you, by the way. She's on board here online and said, you rock, and loves having you on the show. Jules Hicks, Speak Life is a wonderful program. Thank you, Rebecca. And Jackie Blake, appreciate you tuning in. You should always be kind and accepting of each child's lifestyle. And absolutely, that's really what this video is about, is just being kind to everybody, accepting them for who they are. Rebecca, this has really flown by, but I so much appreciate you coming on the show. And again, folks, if you go to speaklifethemusical.org, there's some various trailers. I played one of them on the show, but there's some other ones there to give you an idea of what it's about. And reach out through the Mombassador program. Let's get this in all the schools. It's so incredibly important. And I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. So, Rebecca, thank you again. Speaklifethemusical.org. I wish you well, and thank you so much for doing this wonderful work.
Thank you, Casey.
Up next, we're going to have Orca in the studio, and they're going to be talking a little bit about some of the volunteer opportunities that are available right now at Orca. It's a great thing for kids to do, especially when you need to rack up those volunteer hours at school. We'll be right back.